There we go. Bam! We should be able to hear now. So it must be running somewhere.
My
Hopefully,
mic on?
Pam,
Yeah.
do you not just see the Misguided cover plate? You should see us sitting on the benches here. Let me know if that's happening, because if that's good, we should be good overall. You two are frozen, and I can't hear.
Oh, good. Is my mic on?
Yeah, the mics are on.
Okay.
All right, audio's on. We're all good to go. We're all good, no worries. Well, we're not going to beat around the bush too much. We're going to basically get straight to it.
Oh, we're there. We're good.
You got it?
We're right.
Here, put your earbud in.
Earbuds in.
No microphone. No, you should be able to hear us now. Fantastic. I'm just making sure that all works, because we've put a ton of effort into tonight's show.
This one's a doozy.
This one's a doozy. There you go. We've got an absolutely gorgeous sunrise for you guys. Uh-oh. All right, we should be connected to Painted Dog. Can you guys hear us? Can you guys hear us? Reconnecting. Hold on, here we go.
It's giving it a go.
It's
I think we're
beeping
back
like an
now.
old Russian satellite. Can you guys hear us okay?
Okay, we're good. Good deal. Hey, we've got Brent over there.
We can hear you perfectly.
I'm not sure if they can hear us through Skype. I just hear static.
I just hear static too.
But I think we can all see them
We
okay.
can hear
Can you
you.
guys hear Painted Dog?
I can
Voices are good now. Yep.
Okay.
All right, that's all running. So
Right.
they can see us. They can see
We
him.
can hear you.
Presumably they can hear him.
We can hear you.
Yeah, he's pointing to his earbuds there. This is Brent, everybody.
We can hear you. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Greater Kruger National Park. We're actually surrounded by. a
Brent, I'm
herd of
afraid we
koala.
can't quite
I've
hear
got a
you.
sneaky suspicion
We're
our
just
morning might
hearing
be cut a
static
little
on
bit
our
short.
side.
There is a massive thunderstorm rolling in from the west.
The audience can hear you, but us here at the studio, we can't quite hear you.
Oh, wait. There he is.
Wait, we got something.
Brent. Brenty.
What?
Oh,
There's
there
something-
he is. Okay, I think there's just a leg, I think.
Ah.
Okay, so they can hear him. That's
Yeah.
all that matters.
The audience can hear you, Brent. You're absolutely fine. Here, we'll just kind of play along with them. So take it away, Brent Leo Smith, everybody.
Okay, so they can hear him. That's all that matters.
The audience can hear you, Brent. You're absolutely fine. Here, we'll just kind of play along with them. So take it away, Brent Leo Smith, everybody.
I can't hear him at all. I can't hear him at all.
So he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Okay, perfect.
All right, well, that's fun. Perfect. No, I just now realizing that. Look at that beautiful zebra there. It looks like we've lost the audio even for the audience.
It's good over there.
Oh, I can hear. I think I just heard you, William. It looks like we've lost the audio even for the audience. Oh, I can hear. I think I just heard you, William. So for our viewers at home there, we're just working out some audio bugs. I'm glad the video is still working at least. We're still with Brent. Visually, we can see we've got some Impala there in the road. It looks like the signal, as far as the audio goes, isn't receiving through our SRT right now, so I'm not sure if that's on our end or yours. But hopefully you guys should still be able to hear us here at the studio at home. I see our audio is still spiking. And I think I can hear final control here in my ear. I'm amazed any of this worked, guys. We're broadcasting over 10,000 miles. This is pretty fantastic. Yeah, I could hear that. Well, I'm glad you guys at home are enjoying this, even despite all the audio bugs. It looks like it's on their end because their audio isn't spiking. So we're receiving the video, but not the audio.
Can you hear VM still?
Yeah, I can hear VM still. I'm just trying to narrate for our audience. I might just mute myself for a second so that way you don't hear me constantly, William. But I can still hear you. Yeah, so those of you guys at home, it sounds like Painted Dog's having just a slight hiccup there with their audio. This is absolutely fantastic, though. What a treat to be able to witness this with you all firsthand. This is, I think, a first for mammals, which is kind of cool.
It is a first for mammals. Yeah.
This is Brent, though. You see him there behind the wheel, taking a little cruise down the road. Hold on. I feel like a news anchor.
Hey.
Okay, they're
Alex,
working.
can you hear me now?
Oh, okay, good. Looks like Painted Dog audio is back on. I'm going to unmute myself. There we go.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me now?
I still in my ear can't hear Brent, but it looks like the audience at home can hear him.
It's working.
Yeah. So we've got Brent. We can hear you through our stream, but there's going to be a bit of a delay. So it's going to be a weird game of telephone.
Morning.
How's it? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Brent.
Okay, so obviously, I don't know what you might have missed. Welcome to the Greater Kruger National Park. We're in southern Kruger National Park. We've got about 1,000 acres we can traverse. This area is not fenced.
That's an only source to hear now.
Can move where they want. Hoping that this big storm stays away.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
We've got a big thunderstorm coming. Of course, and we're hoping we're going to find maybe some lions. The lions have been around. I heard them roaring last night. So we're just going to have a little wander around and hopefully not get wet.
asking if there's anything that you can tell us about the lions there.
Brent, we've got a question from Zach. He's wondering if there's anything you can tell us about the lions in your neck of the woods there.
Ah, yes, indeed. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, so we've got our pride is called the Ngati Pride.
Mute this.
Ngati means blood in Shangaan. It's quite an interesting story. So, not very long ago, this area was not part of Greater Kruger, lightning, and was a hunting farm. And here, the guy actually legally hunted lions. So the new farmer who's converted to conservation and dropped the fences and made it part of the Greater Kruger, named the pride Ngati Pride after an area down in the south where hunters used to illegally bait to shoot the lions. Now, in the last 5 years since that stopped, the lions have gone from strength to strength here. The pride is 9 adult females, so a very big pride. At the moment, they have, I think, 9 cubs, but we suspect one of the females is denning, so there could be another 2 or 3 cubbies on the way, and then 2 adult males, and then we've got some nomadic lions that move through. There's 2 young males that pop up quite frequently, and another single young male. So, yeah, a big pride of lions. Now, this area, we're in southern Bululi, and southern Bululi in terms of your prey density and cat density is quite a lot higher than northern Bululi. If you move up towards the Olifants River, it's very rocky. You've got quite a lot of sort of quartz koppies and whatnot. And of course, the grasses don't grow so well, or the good grasses don't grow so well there. So down south here, we get big herds of buffalo, and lots of wildebeest, zebra, impala, due to this savanna zag we're in at the moment. So our dominant trees are marula trees and knobthorn trees, so lots of giraffe as well. So just a very good area, the southern section of Bululi. Now it's normally a bit lighter by this time of the morning, but a bit darker. I had male leopard tracks in this area yesterday, so that's why I want to just check through here. The lions, I feel, slightly to the north of us, but we'll loop around.
And Brent, we were curious,
last night
our viewers were curious.
Big herd of
Can you tell us any about Painted Dog? I mean, I think a lot of us might know you from former projects where you were, working on various different guiding ventures. Can you tell us any about what the goals of Painted Dog TV are? And we see a lot of you guys out, filming beautiful, beautiful footage, and then starting to do these live drives that we see you guys doing on the weekends. But what's the goal behind Painted Dog TV?
So it's quite interesting. So obviously a lot of people know me from my previous company. We were with, most of us actually, Brian, my cameraman, myself, them, were all with Wild Earth. And one of the things we wanted to focus on, particularly from a live and a non-live point of view, because we do live productions like we're doing now. We've done them for big broadcasters from the UK. We do private, where people can book their own private live safari. And the big thing is that we want to really focus on conservation and conservation work, rather than just be entertainment. Very good relationship with a couple of organizations. Zach will know one of them very well, the Endangered Wildlife Trust. So we've actually got an agreement with them, and we do quite a lot of fundraising, particularly for wild dogs. With the Endangered Wildlife Trust, we've broadcast the world's first ever live release of a pack of wild dogs, the world's ever first live collaring of a free-roaming pack of wild dogs, and also the world's ever first live elephant collaring, and in a few weeks we're going to be doing the world's ever first live rhino dehorning. So what happened with COVID is
That's a good question.
we were chatting to a lot of these organizations in terms of the
Ready?
live
When
stuff,
he's done, I'll hit
and we
him.
realized traditional funding methods have literally just fallen away with COVID. So most of these organizations are heavily funded by safari tourism. That is the main funding, and now that is completely gone. So with the virtual experiences, we're hoping to be able to put some money into the different conservation organizations that we've partnered with, and give them some sort of money to keep going until the world returns slightly to normal. However, I think from a long-term model, being able to take people live into some of the most remote places of Africa could be a long-term thing. So, and in a lot of cases, you can't have 100 people watching a lion get darted or a leopard or something like that. You can have a crew there, but with being able to broadcast live from pretty much anywhere outside of the North and South Pole, we are able to bring that to people wherever they might be sitting in the world. Obviously, time zones can be a bit fun, as you guys are probably realizing. It is at 7 o'clock on the East Coast in the evening for you guys, and it's 5 a.m. or just after 5 a.m. for us. Just listen for a second. I heard something. Oof, lightning again. Nah, let's head up to that. Let's go north. So, sorry, got sidetracked there. I thought I heard an alarm call. You can hear there's a very loud white-browed scrub robin shouting away. Of course, you won't see him. He'll be just in the brush there.
Since COVID, have you guys noticed anything regarding rhino poaching?
So, Zach, it's quite an interesting one. So, since COVID, there seems to be, well, up until very recently, there was a definite decline. It has started up again in the last 10 to 12 days. There have been actually, I've had reports of quite a few incursions. But so in the last 10 to 12 days, they're uptake in rhino poaching. But over the majority of the hard lockdowns that we've been experiencing in South Africa, rhino poaching actually was in decline. Now, that is because obviously the traditional ferrying routes or smuggling routes to get contraband out have been a lot stricter just due to the COVID protocols that all the countries have put in place. Now, with saying that, even though maybe some of the high-profile poaching has sort of come down, the meat poaching or subsistence poaching has actually increased. Now, a lot of people have lost their jobs and have no income, and I mean, so the government COVID grant for the unemployed is 300 Rand. I mean, what is that in dollars? I don't think it's even $30. And that's what someone's got to survive off for a week, less than $30. And so there has been an uptake in sort of subsistence poaching, setting snares to try catch antelope and warthogs and things like that to eat. But of course, the problem with those is that they are indiscriminate and they can catch hyenas and lions and leopards and any other. Those lions that were roaring were up along our northern boundary, so we think might just do a little scoot down there, see if they've hopefully come to cross. Now, of course, our boundary is just a road. The animals are free to wander wherever they want. However, us human beings, not so much.
One title, for example, that's often thrown out is they're called game rangers. You know, there's a lot of fluff surrounding it. What is being a safari guide like for the viewers at home, or how do you even come into a career like that? How did you wind up where you're at?
So yes, game rangers, guides, naturalists, so many different terms these days. It confuses the hell out of me as well. But how I ended up here, I'm quite lucky. I'm one of the few people who's actually grown up in the bush. My dad, in the late 80s, started a company that was called Conservation Corporation. It is now known as And Beyond, and it is one of the largest safari companies in the world. And so I grew up on Pinda, and from a very young age, we brought, it was the first time to sort of rework old farmland back to wildlife. So we brought in lions and cheetah and elephants and rhinos, buffalo, and I was lucky enough as a small kid to be around for all of that. And then when the company was quite big, my dad decided it wasn't for him anymore, and he then started another safari company up in northern Botswana, so called Kwando Safaris. So in my teens, I spent in the Okavango Delta and on the Zambezi River, and just being in the bush generally. And then I was at boarding school, and I was supposed to go to university and get a degree. That didn't work out so well for me. I spent about 5 months at university, and I thought, no, this is very boring. I don't know how I'm going to stay and do this for 3 or 4 years. So I actually dropped out. I went traveling for a little bit across Europe, and then I thought, no, the Europe place is also quite boring. Oh dear, we're getting some big raindrops here. I'm going to start slowly making my way back towards, and lightning. And I said, oh, this is quite boring, and I ended up moving to Zambia. And then Zambia, I worked in anti-poaching and game ranch management as a 19 or 20-year-old, and basically just didn't stop from there. After that, I went to work for my dad in Botswana, and then I ended up at Singita in the Kruger National Park as a guide, and after that I was at Londolozi. Then I moved to the Selous. I was a fishing guide in Namibia, between them and the Zambezi River, and then I moved to the Selous. I was up in the Selous for a few years running concessions, and then back to South Africa, private guiding, then Bond, Kenya, Congo, Uganda, Rwanda. So I'm very lucky, but most people aren't as lucky as I am in terms of having the ability to, and having family that is in the bush all the time. So there are lots of different ways to become a guide. One of the best ways is to get a hold of good friends of ours from Eco Training. If anyone does want to become a guide, you can just you can get a hold of Zach and Alex, and they can get the information from us. But there are actually guide schools out here. There's a guide school on the property that we drive. Is that an Impala? Not a lion. Yes, it's an Impala. Darn it! I was hoping the lions might come up onto the road here. Yeah, so that's the one way to become a guide. There are internships and whatnot. Now, a lot of people think it's quite difficult if you're not a South African or an African to become a guide. It is more difficult, but I've always found if you're truly passionate and you really want to do it, you will find a way. I mean, my girlfriend is American. She's been out here for 6 years now, and she has now got a permanent residence, and she is a safari guide in Timbati. These lions hiding. Now we're going to head back towards that big open area where we heard the lions, and also have a closer look at the animals now that the light is a bit better.
We've just got one last question for you guys. So the last question is, what is the most beautiful thing about being out in the bush? And also, if you were to put a conservation message on a billboard on the side of the highway, what would that message be?
tough ones there. Well, I think the most beautiful thing for me is everything out here. It's my happy place. It resets me if I'm in a bad mood, if I go on a drive. I absolutely enjoy everything. I love the connectivity of it all. But the big bolt of lightning behind us. Oh, listen to the thunder. So I think everything about being out here. I mean, my favorite animals, wild dogs, and I always love them. But I think it's just everything. I couldn't imagine living and working and doing anything differently. As for a conservation message on a billboard, it's a tough one. Actually, we've had this discussion. So I think the biggest thing is that do your homework. There's so much nonsense on the internet and people attacking conservationists and scientists, the keyboard warriors, without actually having any clue about what it takes to manage wildlife in Africa, to deal with communities. I mean, people run around saying, shoot a poacher. I completely disagree with that. If you're shooting poachers, you've already lost. Fix the major problems above that. So, for example, when I have someone saying, "Oh, we must shoot all the poachers," like, okay, imagine your child had no food. What would you do? Would you steal? Would you poach to keep your family alive? And the answer is probably yes. And it's very easy to judge from a place of privilege and get worked up about the conservation issues. You've got to remember that people are living with these animals all the time. An elephant is beautiful to us and we can watch it. But an elephant that comes in and hits your maize fields, that is your whole year's worth of supply. Your staple diet for a year can be decimated by an elephant or an elephant herd in a night. So I think conservation message, maybe just a human message. Preserving judgment is a matter of infinite hope. And working together and fixing the bigger problems, I think, is better than attacking people who are trying their best. There is no right solution. I think there's multiple solutions that we need to work together to do. And here we go. So this is what we were surrounded by a little bit earlier. Oop, more lightning. All the impalas. Try see if we can get you some zebra and wildebeest now that it's light as well. Now, this is one of our biggest herds in the area. Oof. I can actually see the rain coming over the crest. But stick with us till we might see a wildebeest, a zebra, an elephant, whatnot on the running. But you can actually just see the rain coming over the hill. And of course, people are waterproof and can deal with the rain. Cameras and live broadcast equipment, not so much.
That storm looks like it's moving in on you guys. The lightning. I don't want you guys to get struck by lightning. I've been in that spot. That's not a fun feeling. So I'm just waiting for the delay here. But thank you so much for making time.
Well, thank you guys, and hopefully see you again soon when they're in the storm rolling in. Cheers. Hyena hunting wildebeest.
With hyenas.
Oh, that's awesome. Right at the end there, a hyena.
An A-roll animal. Perfect.
Now watch the wildebeest are going to chase the hyena.
Mineral animal, dude.
These are the babies.
Amazing.
Chase them. They're going to chase them.
An A-roll animal, indeed.
That's pretty cool. There we go.
Another one there. These hyenas are hunting these baby wildebeest. There's another one there.
So for those of you guys on Mammals with us, we're going to stay live until their feed stops. But we've got more show for you coming up right after. It's only about 7:30. So stay with us. We're going to just enjoy this feed while it lasts. And then we're going to jump on to Rachel's Baked Treats. All right, whenever you guys are ready, I don't want them to get too wet out there, too crisped up by the lightning.
See you, VM.
What was that? Ah. All right, I'm gonna cut our audience over to commercial, but thank you, William. I'm gonna sign off now. Cheers. All right, we did it, guys. How was that? We were on Safari Live in South Africa. That was pretty fucking cool, if I can say so myself. I'm so happy you guys were all here for us. We've got quite the crew that's come to join us this evening. Yeah, they haven't even had breakfast yet, they're saying.
I know.
Yeah,
Up and around, we've got impalas everywhere, then suddenly wrap it up, hyena.
A-roll right there at
That's a
the
good
end.
animal. Yeah, right.
That was through miracles of modern technology to make that work. Holy cow. Proper news agencies have all kinds of people that know what they're doing. It's just me here on this show.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, I was able to plug all this stuff in to make it work, and I'm just thrilled to bits that it actually happened. And you know, we'll be able to bring more of those kind of feeds to you in the future. And hey, give me till, what is it, January? Till November, I'm going to be in the bush doing what we just did, but we'll be talking to each other directly. It's going to be great. I'm going to cut you guys over to commercial real quick, and when we come back, we're going to have Rachel with us. On our South African theme, she has made a South African dessert. I am super excited.
Yes.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if you could see how shark fin soup is made? If you could see how each year up to 70 million sharks are killed to end up in soup, could you still eat it? A third of all shark species are nearly extinct, but we can help save them.
Remember, when the buying stops, the killing can too.
My name is Lynn, and I want to star in a movie. Why is that artichoke talking? I'm a pangolin, which basically means my tongue is longer than my body, and I'm pretty much per bowling ball. But the pangolin pièce de résistance? We're the only mammals with scales. Pretty neat, huh? Poachers think so, too. You see, people use us for traditional medicine and leather boots. The situation is critical, averaging about 100,000 goodbyes a year. I have to do something. I have to star in a movie. If I become famous, pangolins will become famous. People will notice us and finally care about us. So guys, help my species become known. In Hollywood, let me star in a movie, please!
All right, welcome back, everybody. How are those commercials for you? We've got WWF and Wild Aid. I'm not even sure if legally I should be using those, but the logic was they're commercials. They're for putting it out there. So,
Makes
you know,
sense.
we've got Rachel back. We're just double checking. Your microphone is on.
Awesome.
Good. Say something.
Hello.
We call the show Misguided for a reason, everybody. It's a little wonky, a little goofy. Welcome back, welcome back. That was pretty darn cool. Rachel was in just off camera here checking out the feed. And when we weren't sure what the audio problem was, she came running out to the side here and was like, "We can hear him, we can hear him." So that was great. Thank you. Because
Yeah.
I was here, you know, I felt like a news, like Ron Burgundy on a news call here on Skype with them in South Africa, and for whatever reason, their Skype comms didn't run through the way they should, so I couldn't hear Brent in my ear, and I had to hear the delay, which we've got Zach's phone back here, so I was listening to that as well. Do you want your phone back? There you go.
Yeah, on the way down, I ran into the barbecue just because it's kind of dark back there.
You okay?
But I'm okay. Didn't lose any legs
Oh, good.
yet.
Well, what have you made tonight?
Well, I've made something that I believe is called malva pudding. It's a South African dessert. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's a South African dessert that's kind of very citrusy, which was a surprise to me because it's made with apricot jam. It's got a little bit of orange zest, but not a lot, surprisingly. Eggs, sugar, milk. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Vanilla. But then there's so it's like a standard kind of cakey dough. But then there's a sauce poured over it that's made with evaporated milk.
Pam says hi, by the way.
Hi, Pam. Hello.
Hi, Pam. She's so sweet and innocent.
With
You're
sugar,
a big
brown
red scarf.
sugar, almond extract, and vanilla extract, and you pour it over. And so it's a very moist dessert.
Now, can you tell us in great detail the history of this dessert?
Oh, yeah. So we listened to the history today, and it told us that it was possibly named after a woman named Malva, or
Which is like the most old-timey name of all time.
or after an alcohol that was made in the sauce they pour over it. So
There you
it
go.
has a really interesting history.
And what would you pair this with if you were going to serve? You know, if you were to serve a dinner, what would I mean? This is the dessert. This is what people remember. They had a great meal, and then we're finishing with desserts.
With dessert, I
What would you
mean,
pair this with?
for me, I think it would taste really good with some vanilla ice cream. I mean, you're supposed to pour the sauce over it hot, so it's supposed to be like a warm, buttery, kind of caramely sauce on the cake. So that would pair really well with some vanilla ice cream, or just nothing at all.
Just by itself.
Just in a bowl, eat it.
Was this easy to
Great.
make? You know, if the folks at home want to try
Yeah.
this, I know we keep saying we'll post the recipe, but
Alex doesn't remind me to send him the email, so.
you don't send
the
me
recipe.
that. No, it's all me because I've
Yeah,
got too
just
many things. I'm busy making holograms.
That's all right.
I swear, this
But
time
I sent you the recipe this time.
she sent it to me.
It's
We
in
will
his
actually
phone,
post
so
it. Maybe. Probably
Maybe it'll
not.
be posted. Maybe.
Uh,
If not, it's a very simple recipe. Just look it up online. That's what I get all my recipes.
Pam says, or port. That could be good with it.
Yeah, that would be delicious.
Yeah, we were talking before the show, Pam, about like, I feel like this would be good in the summer because it's quite citrusy. If you like chilled it down
Yeah.
and then served it with a little vanilla ice cream and some nice, you know, cream or something on top,
Yeah.
it's really good. But a port wine would pair well with it. You know, it's a nice. It's been so long since I've had port. That's sweet, right? Or is it
I think it's sweet.
I think so. It's a dessert wine.
Yeah, dessert wine.
busy making holograms? Pam knows. I was telling them earlier today what I was up to making holograms. Learning all of Adobe After. You've been seeing this. All of Adobe After
Yes.
Effects just consumed with my computer.
Just sitting at the computer all day.
I can't wait to show you. I got it. Anyway,
pretty good.
let's sample a little bit. Yeah.
All
Do you want
right.
to break one of these in half?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's grab like this guy
Which
here.
one?
I'm gonna just show the folks at home. Get up nice and close. This is what she's made for us this evening. There it is, Malva. It's. I mean, here I'm gonna put it by the mic. It's squishy. It's squishy.
I
Can
would
you
call
hear
it dense
Moist, that kind
but moist.
Dense.
But moist.
This cake is dense, like a small
but in
child.
a good way, not like you're eating a brick.
I think this is really good. It's spongy. It feels like you took a cleaning sponge and covered it in honey. It's good.
That's an odd description of a baked good.
Like a cleaning sponge covered in honey. It's got a good sponge.
What is it, dirty?
No, it's good. It doesn't taste like dishwater at all.
I'm happy about that.
Oh, I know. South African malva. Easy peasy. You know, I find a lot of desserts there, or a lot of foods in general there, are like named after just British royalty or British executives, British chefs. Fun history, and like I said, by November or next year, whenever, when we're doing things live from South Africa, I think a fun venture would be to try to get into the history of why we call, you know, certain animals what they're called, or desserts like malva, because the country is so bizarre. You get like every indigenous group ever coming down to South Africa, you know, taking over, with the most recent example being the Zulu with Shaka in 1820s. And then you get the Dutch and you get the British, who just can't leave each other alone. Ultimately, the British win. There's just these series of crazy wars. And in the end, we get to enjoy
desserts.
Spongy honey cake. Yes, in America.
I mean, no matter where you go, all over the world, there's sweet things. So obviously, people like it. So.
Obviously, people enjoy sweets. And then insert oompa, loompa, doompa dee doom. All right, guys. Rachel's Baked. What do you want to call this segment? I was about to say Rachel's Baked Corner, but what do you want to call this?
Rachel's Sweets?
Rachel's Sweet Shack.
Sweet Shack.
Rachel's, I don't know, out there in the internet world, help us name this
Safari
segment.
Sweets.
Or do we say it like Safari Steve? Safari Sweets.
Yeah.
With Safari Steve. The sweet spot. Oh, that's what we might have to call it. If you guys have an idea for a name out there, let us know. I want you guys to feel like Misguided is just as much your show as it is our show. We're just the ones on this side of the lens for now, but who knows? Maybe someday you'll come on as a guest. Help us name this segment. We're going to call it Sweet Spot for now. One more look for you all, and then we're gonna cut away. We've got a little bit more show coming up for you right after this. We're gonna take you off to our headline segment. So we'll see you guys in just a minute.
What kind of world is projected for us when many schools and stores have emptied, yet commercial markets selling live wildlife for human consumption remain full? Thought to have been the birthplace of COVID-19, these markets continue on, leaving wildlife exposed to extinction and leaving us exposed to future pandemics. Protecting wildlife means protecting us. Take action now at protectwildlifeprotectus.org.
Is that good enough for you? This show went off the rails immediately after Brent left. Holy cow. All right. I agree, Mom. I think we should maybe let Rachel name it, because if she doesn't, we're going to call it Rachel's Sweet Spot, and I think that's probably weird.
Not good.
Probably not good. The boy's not right. Not right. This show, you know, we weren't sure how long Brent was going to be able to be with us tonight, because we're broadcasting from 10,000 miles in different time zones. There's a lot of moving parts. I was not entirely optimistic it was even going to work at all, but hey,
But
it did. It was great.
And
Air
next
kick.
time it will be even better.
It's going to be great. Headlines, though. We're not going to do a musical moment of the week this week just because, quite frankly, I didn't have time to make one.
But also the gift of Brent Leo Smith.
That's music in and of
sure,
itself.
That's good.
But I did feel it was important to at least pull on some headlines and try to cover a few things here. So, in that interest, first
Let's have a
up,
look.
we're off to Namibia. Namibia to sell off wild elephants in controversial auction. Namibia's Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism plans to finalize an auction of 170 of its wild elephants on Friday, January 29th, so yesterday. The auction has been met with sharp criticism by conservationists who have questioned the population data and claims of human-elephant conflict that are being used to justify the sale. MEFT has argued that the auction is necessitated by a tripling in the country's elephant population from about 7,500 in 1995 to about 24,000 individuals today, with the ministry asserts which ministry asserts is damaging ecosystems, increasing the incidence of conflict between pachyderms and farmers. So are we going to include all pachyderms in that? And heightening the risk of poaching. Conservationists, however, dispute that data. This one's a fairly loaded one. We all remember the story from last spring. If you don't remember the story from last spring,
The elephants of the Okavango.
Elephants of the Okavango. I have a video on mammals. It's on my YouTube. There was a bit of a weird conundrum going
Kerfuffle.
on. Kerfuffle. A little
Snafu.
a little something something.
Razzmatazz.
Little razzmatazz. The old razzle dazzle going on with the elephants in the
The
Okavango.
old, zip the smooth.
The old hoopty plot. Elephants. We're making light of something so serious. Elephants in the Okavango were dying in mass numbers. No one knew why. Arguably, no one still knows why. But between March and August of 2020, 800 elephants died in the Okavango. And they died in a specific part of the Okavango, in a northern pan whose name I'm totally blanking on at the moment. That's back. The elephants are dying in the Okavango again. This is brand new data that just came out in the last week or so. Coupled with Namibia right next door selling off wild elephants. What this really hits at is human-wildlife conflict.
I feel like oftentimes when these kinds of things happen, it's always politically motivated and not really all that science-based.
Right.
Because if you look at the data says one thing, but the politicians over here say another thing.
And the farmers say something entirely
Farmers
different.
have a whole different dialogue.
But I'm curious, the shift to, well, this last year challenged it so much, but the shift to more tourism-based, wouldn't you want more elephants on your land?
Yeah, and there are a lot of areas that don't have elephants that would benefit from having elephants.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's silly. I think it's short-sighted. I think a lot of it is looking at the price tag and going, oh, that's too much. But in reality, in the long run, you're benefiting from, all right, putting in the extra effort of moving these animals from one area that, maybe, let's move these guys, to a spot where, okay, the densities are low.
Right.
Benefit from it, as
Right.
opposed to just, whatever, who cares, get them out of here.
Before the show, we're doing social hours, cocktail hours, which tonight's was riveting.
You messed up. Rip snorting good time.
We're doing them on Facebook for now, just to try to drive some traffic here to the show on mammals. But we pulled up a map of the wild dogs in Africa, and you could really see the fragmented populations all across. And you could see that arc where the range should be, but it's so dissolved now. It's sad. I'd be keen to see what an elephant's looks like, and I'd pull it up now, but that's a little bit too much effort for tonight. We've got a question from Pam. What benefit do elephants bring to the land? Well,
all of it.
this gets into one of my favorite chats to have with people about
Ecology.
how animals have jobs.
Yes.
Elephants are bioengineers.
Yes.
This is more just. You're gonna go? Okay, you're not gonna go.
I'll go. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, imagine a whole species of an animal that designs and creates an environment. They act like tree surgeons. They tear out old trees that allows new room for new trees to grow. They massive seed dispersers from rulers to grasses to other fruiting trees and shrubs. Just they increase plant biodiversity. And just even having them around at all, like, affects how rivers flow with roots and all that stuff. And so, like, elephants are the engineers of environments, whether we're talking in sub-Saharan Africa or in Asia or in South Asia we're talking about. So wherever they are, they shape and create the environment where they're from, which is very cool.
The gardeners.
The gardeners. And actually, so environments that have elephants and rhinos in them absorb, and this is just from plant growth, absorb somewhere between 60 to 70% more carbon from the atmosphere than forests that don't have elephants and rhinos in them.
What was the one type of animal Steve Irwin was like, I don't want to work with that?
Parrots.
Parrots, absolutely. In the news. Bioengineers, Pam says, sounds like an important role. Definitely. More importantly, Steve Irwin, not a fan of parrots. Current protected areas, not enough to save parrots from extinction. A study finds nearly 1/3 of parrot species are threatened with extinction, and a new study concludes that current protected areas are not sufficient to protect parrot biodiversity, overlapping with only 10% of the geographic range of all parrot species. Agriculture is the main threat to parrots, and it is especially relevant in the neotropics, where parrot species richness is highest. I think a decent example, we talked about this last week, would be just simple things like pineapple farms taking up massive tracts of land, mangroves being replaced by coconut, plantations.
Agriculture needs to start building up instead of out, and ultimately that's going to affect a lot of things for different species. And I think when I think of parrots, I think the thing about like cetaphorms, like parrots and macaws and like those guys, like they need lots of space. There's lots of neat biodiversity between each species group in those clades. But the thing is, like, it's also pet trade too. I mean, like, I would argue pet trade is way more destructive than
Definitely.
Is.
Well, this last year's been different, but there's a dude at LAX right now whose job it is to see flights and the people coming off to try to figure out, with like a cute little dog, does this guy have like turtles taped to the inside of his coat?
Right.
You know?
And like the thing that like parrots and birds go through from, hey, I'm a parrot in the wild, to, hey, I'm a pet store, is like, really, it's, for lack of a better word, like really just messed up.
Really messed up.
So you're going from, hey, I'm a hyacinth macaw in Brazil, to, hey, I've been caught in a net, to, hey, I'm in a cage, to, hey, I'm tied up and shoved into a 2-liter pop bottle, to, oh, I'm next to a bunch of them. Like the animals that like make the trip, they're insane, and they end up in people's houses,
and go insane.
Yeah. So.
That's a fine line to walk. One group that is making this their priority, who I've got scheduled to be on the show actually as a guest, probably in March. We're working that out. But we'll go ahead and toss their logo up, is the Macaw Recovery Network. These folks here, this is their whole deal, is they deal with parrots. Any question you could ever want to know, ask them about a parrot, they will give you an answer. They've got a really cool research and recovery operation going on, and I'm trying to remember I can't remember where exactly it is right now. I'm not prepped for this conversation. Cool group though. We're going to be actually having them on, probably via live feed from South America later on. But for now, we'll keep it moving. We've got pangolins in the news. Pull this up.
What?
I'm
a truffle pig for pangolin conversations.
A truffle pig for pangolin conversations.
I'm just like, where is it?
I think my pangolin graphic disappeared.
Eat up, pig.
Eat up, pig. So it's not too late yet to save the Philippine pangolin. Study finds. This is great. Philippine pangolins, found only in the island province of Palawan, are among the most heavily trafficked mammals in the world, with nearly 7,000 seized from traffickers between 2018 and 2019. But unlike some populations of other penguin species, the Philippine pangolin might have a chance of bouncing back if the appropriate conservation measures are set up to protect the species. A new study, which uses local sites and knowledge of the species, shows the Philippine pangolin is widely distributed across its range, and knowledge of the species is high. However, sightings were either very rare and declines were reported across the survey areas. That's fairly encouraging. And arguably nothing new using locals for conservation.
I would also say it's not too late to save any species.
I've been chatting with a guy I met on Mammals, actually, all about the lexicon, and we've had this conversation before. Is the word save outdated, moot, get rid of it?
I think that for a marketing, I guess, kind of standpoint, sure, I think it's overused, but I think from like just an execution kind of way, it's like that's precisely what we're doing.
What's the AZA? They have a save thing, right?
I don't have time for those people.
Either do I.
Sorry.
If the zoos are doing it, should we? I don't know.
It depends, I don't know. It depends on who's doing it, what.
Right. I think the word save is outdated because I would bet it doesn't have an impact with Joe Average, you know? Not Joe Exotic, Joe Average.
It has a better impact than I think other words do.
Maybe?
Because people hear save the whales and they go, oh, well, we need to protect the whales.
But that campaign was so specific.
Right.
They've really ingrained it in your head. If someone says save the narwhal or save the tuna fish,
so ingrained in my ethos.
Save the chameleon, save the panda. I'm just coming up. Save the hyacinth macaw.
I think the word that we should be using would be exhausted. I think it's just like people can only care so much that they go, all right, well, save the, what's it called? The vaquita? I'm already trying to say polar bears. What's going on over there?
Well, I think Brent's whole approach was cool where, you know, he's really trying to grab conservation and just put it on display all the time, which is kind of where my brain lives. So many of these animal shows are about kind of the polished, sexy product. You know, the dude with the macaw on his arm. Or we're going to the vets and we're going to talk about what...
Or it's like the animal, like this is the cheetah. It can run 7
Shark
miles
Week.
an hour. And
Scary
chase a
teeth.
gazelle, do a whole thing. That kind of, it's less about the reality.
The real work that goes into it. I feel like if we put that on display more and avoided words like save and instead replace it with just, look what these people are doing, you know?
This is a problem.
If you can tune into ESPN right now and watch guys talk about a golfer's swing angle, how come you can't do that about conservation or animal stuff?
It's just that those people don't know better. So.
Sure. Pam says she was unaware pangolins were in the Philippines. I did notice that WWF's pangolin sounds suspiciously like Safari Steve.
Safari Steve.
I think they stole our voice. We should demand royalties and sue WWF.
Yeah, because that's worth it.
That's worth it. No, that's a terrible idea. Terrible, just terrible.
Hey, so let's steal money from you guys protecting species in the wild for some whatever the hell reason.
And we've got one more story for you. Salmon. European farm salmon sector to use only deforestation-free Brazilian soy. Now, this is a huge deal because big tracts of the Amazon are being cut down to replace with soy fields, to replace with beef. And the biggest importers of those beef products are, here's fun, Russia, Shanghai, and the United States. Specifically Shanghai, Russia. And it's just funny to me that we're lumped in the same group as Russia, and you've got that whole never read kind of attitude, but now we're buying the same cow.
That was the 50s, though. Time has passed since then.
Well, McCarthyism still lives.
Does it?
Misguided. Ka-ching. Yikes. 3 Brazilian salmon feed supply growers, CJ Selecta, Camaru, and this one that I can't pronounce, I'm going to skip past it, will produce and harvest only deforestation and conservation conversion-free soybean supply chain products. That wasn't confusing at all. The change is a result of the first large-scale protein-producing sector that's eliminated links to tropical deforestation throughout the supply chain. Under the international agreement, no soybean crops produced on land converted after August 2020 will be allowed into supply chains, and the new standards will apply to future purchase contracts. Now, my question is, what the hell do salmon and soy have to do with each other?
Oh, one has to feed the other.
Soy? The thing vegans are eating? Okay. Good night, folks. No, I think that's cool. I think putting any pressure on imports, exports from Brazil, especially the Amazon, is a good idea. I looked up a map of this recently. Far more of the Amazon has been removed than I was aware of.
Do not get me started on Bolsonaro.
Get started on Bolsonaro.
I don't want to get started.
In fact, let's pull up a graphic of Bolsonaro.
Here we go. Buckle up. So
Before we started the show, my mom said, "Hey, maybe don't include the politics as much
Bolsonaro. Let's talk about
on your show."
Also,
so
find the dumbest picture of
this one's
Bolsonaro.
pretty dumb here.
That's good.
Sorry, Mom. We're gonna go full politics for a second.
Yay, Bolsonaro.
Said nobody ever.
Trump of the Amazon.
Here he comes. Ready? Ready for those of us at home? 3, 2.
Yikes.
Bolsonaro.
Yikes, that's a bit much. So those of you that don't know, Trump is still around. He just doesn't live in America anymore. He lives in Brazil.
He's also changed ethnic backgrounds.
And he looks totally different. And he's got a different name. And his face is covering my face on the screen. But he goes by Bolsonaro now. Now, imagine if Donald Trump had full control over the Amazon rainforest. That is what's happening. Whatever you're imagining, that is precisely what is happening. We're losing tracts of the Amazon the size of fucking France every year. It's ridiculous, you know. It's for what? It's you're looking at messing with the lungs of the unit of the body of the earth, and messing with where medicine comes from. You're messing with weather patterns because, I mean, equatorial rainforest between South America, the Congo, and South Asia, that's where bloody oxygen comes from, or at least 50% of it anyway. You know, and
True story, though, most of the air is made of nitrogen.
And?
It's not oxygen.
Did you go to school?
I did.
That's not real.
That's very real. What are you talking about?
It's a percent, That's fun. O2.
You were about to say H2O. You were about to say
O2.
You were about to say that the air is made of water,
There is water in the air.
but exclusive. H2O.
There is water in the air. I'll go to the mat with you over this. And anything else.
All right. Well, those are some crazy headlines. I thought we should just kind of mix it up a little bit and have some weird and wild things after Brent, because I figured whatever came after Brent wasn't even going to be close.
Another live stream of Impalas.
We're going to try to take you guys back to Africa here for just a second, if I can find my right. Where did I put that here? Let's go. Let's just grab it real quick. One of the things I do occasionally on mammals is just simple live streams of what's going on in. Oh, look at that! We got a lion live in South Africa right now.
Good, there's lions.
A-roll animal. I occasionally do live streams of these live cams where basically I'm just kind of hanging out ready to chat with you about what you're watching, what you're looking at. And it's a way to stay in tune with Africa a little bit for me and kind of mentally feel like I'm there a little bit. There we go, fix that up. Look at that, just the tail moving behind the brush there. That's often what you're looking for. Man, this is lion country. This here is lion country.
Is he here?
No.
Where is he at?
So I thought, what a
Hot puss. Very hot puss. You said to me.
We got Chris just joining us. Chris, yeah, we were with Brent live just a little while ago. In a minute here, I'll end our stream, and you'll be able to go back and rewatch that segment with him. What a treat to be able to cruise the bush for at least a little bit with him and kind of see the world through his eyes. A couple good insights. He was talking about Painted Dog and their goal really to put conservation on center stage, put it in the forefront, make it so people can see it, make people aware of it.
There isn't a single show that exists that is conservation based.
Except Misguided.
Except Misguided.
They didn't see that. You want to do it again?
Except Misguided.
Finger point. Except Misguided. Give me a minute and I'll be yelling at Asian forest ministers. Like Harrison Ford in that one documentary clip. One last look at South Africa for you guys over there. I love when the cameras freeze on this kind of an angle and it's just like an hour of a twig like you're getting here. But you can see just to the right of the screen about just about mid-center there, you've got that lion who just took a nice little rest. I don't know what the temperature is there right now. I would assume it's getting fairly warm. It's summertime. Man, I miss the days where it was 6 a.m. Look at that. It's like mid-afternoon. This is my least favorite time of year, when it's dark at 5:30. It's just miserable.
And you're cold in the dark.
Cold, but I refuse to put on pants because look at that, I'm hairy anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm going to zoom in on this lion for you guys, just in case you don't see her or him. Can't quite tell. Her. I'm going to go with her. There she is. Cut. Bam. And I mean that's pretty typical this time of day. You know, if we were on a drive in Kruger right now, you'd be cruising down the road. It might be something like that you're looking for. So we've got that brush in the way. You can't really see the head. You see the tail going, that might grab your attention, but easy to drive right by something like this.
I love lion sightings because every time that you see them, it's either one of two things. It is either, you're like your guide says, oh, hey, lions. And everyone's so excited about lions. Yeah, there's lions just over there. And then you're like, oh, well, they're sleeping. Oh, well, they're still sleeping. It's been hours and hours, bloody 18 hours ago by and they're still sleeping. Or you're driving down the road and then flying out of the tree line here is an impala, and the impala just smashes into a termite mound, and then like 8 lions are like, what? And they just like tear apart this impala. It's this whole thing, and then like the lions are laying, there's some hyenas that just showed up. It's like this whole thing. It's either the most boring thing ever or the most insane thing you can ever imagine. There's no middle ground. It's funny.
Chris asked if those plants are related to yuccas, so completely different neck of the woods than you were just talking about.
What plants?
No, I think he's talking about here in the stream, in the middle of the frame. I don't know, Chris. Actually, I can't see it close enough. I'm not really sure what it is. They look like fan palms of some variety to me, which are an Asian species of plant, but highly invasive. Yuccas are a New World plant. Cool fun fact, their nickname is the Spanish dagger, because they look like old-timey colonial. Think dude in all shiny gear who colonized the New World and killed everyone with genocide and disease. That kind of a dagger. On that happy note, guys, it's about that time. I'm so happy you all made some time to come hang out with us and check out what we were up to. Thrilled to bits to have Brent Leo Smith. I'm sure that's the first of many times we'll try to have him on the show. And keyword there, try to have him on the show.
The first of many scenarios.
What a treat to see the world through his eyes. But at any rate, guys, I'm going to cut you loose. It's about that time. It's about that time most people are working at their watch going, how much more of this is coming? Like,
not enough.
Can they really keep going? Yes, we can, but we're not going to bore you with that tonight. I don't want to use that. I'm trying to think on the... Jeff, you're in the dark over there. We need a new end line.
What?
We need a new end line. What do you guys think?
Yeah. New,
Ooh,
let us know in the comments.
Is this the time to talk about this?
Keep tracking. Keep trucking.
Keep on trucking.
We're going to go with that.
See you in the...
Parting is such sweet sorrow. We'll see you in the bush.